Yes, guys, welcome to another episode of Legends Lounge. This is me, myself, Real Ferdinand, alongside
I'm Roman Kemp. Hello.
the mad Arsenal fan. And yes, he's an Arsenal fan for a reason today, because we have one of the most gifted, the most talented midfield maestros of any generation, the assist master, the guy who won trophies at some of the biggest clubs in the world and for a nation, pivotal in all of those, Mr. Cesc Fabregas. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming, man.
Oh yes. My day has arrived.
This man couldn't even breathe this morning when I spoke to him. I was saying, "How are you looking forward to Cesc?" He was like, and
It's one of the greatest goals in North London derby history. How can I not? Sorry, carry on, because we've got big things to talk about today.
But let's move it forward. Euros,
Yeah.
man. Spain, can they win it? They've moved into my favourites to win the tournament after the first couple of games.
I think we can. We look solid. What I'm liking the most, forget about when we have the ball for a moment, because we all know that Spanish teams, Spanish players can keep the ball. But I'm liking the motivation and the will, the hunger to press high. Italy at some point they didn't know what to do with the ball, because we were really pressing very aggressively, very compact, high lines. A little bit like when we were talking about England, playing, with a high line, aggressive, that they did it sometimes, but then they dropped too deep. Spain were very consistent in it. They have very clear ideas, and obviously with the ball, we have players that always give lines of passing. They have personalities. They want the ball even when they're pressed. And for me, we have two players that they hardly exist in today's modern football, who are the two wingers, Nico and Lamine Yamal. For me, they will make a big difference in this tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Lamine Yamal, I can't believe it. 16 years old. You know exactly what it's like to, come into a side and be this young superstar. How do you think it is for him right now at a tournament like this, being 16? He's got these older players around him. He's in a big stage like this. Do you think it's easy, or is
He's doing exams during the tournament. You see that? Studying in the exams.
Yeah, it's a joke.
It's crazy.
No, listen, it's fantastic. You don't see that very often. He's got so much personality, so much talent. The good thing about the Barcelona Academy as well is that since you are very young, you need to win. Okay, so the mentality and the mindset is already there. We've seen many players during our times or generations, or even before, that he will have seen when he was younger, with the Busquets, with the Pedros, with the Sergio Roberto and stuff, that it happens, So they kind of prepare you. After it happens, or it doesn't happen, but all the way, for when the time comes that you are ready to step in, and the philosophy. And that's why, for example, something like us at Como, who are at the very beginning, I try to bring this alignment throughout all the age groups, because
That's
when they come,
that's what I was going to say. That it's
Barcelona,
important.
let's say 4-3-3, everyone plays 4-3-3 the same way that the first team.
The only difference is physicality. The system and everything is, the tactics is the same.
Correct.
Yeah,
But that's the thing. So you're talking about, obviously, La Masia, right? Where all those Barca players, they go through, yourself as well. Someone like Lamine Yamal, what's it like growing up in a system like that? Do you only learn the words 4-3-3, or is that, do you know what I mean? Like when you're doing maths or something like that?
Kind of. And maybe this could be positive and in a way negative if you don't really make it to the first team and to the Barcelona, let's say, professional team.
Yeah.
Then you go away and maybe you have problems.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why in Madrid is the opposite. They teach you to win, but in different ways. So a lot of more players from the Madrid academy end up leaving and being comfortable playing around Europe. Barcelona struggle a bit more, but the ones that make it to the first team, they are top.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're talking about two players. You mentioned the wingers there for Spain, and more than that as well. There've been multiple players playing and replicating their club form for the country. England, we done a game together. There's another game after that, and you're looking at it and going, we've got players who seem to be underperforming for England and aren't playing the way we normally see them. How does a manager get that and create that environment for players to replicate club form? You had to do it with your Spanish teams.
Yeah, I think it's about giving them obviously license to express themselves, but to create an atmosphere where players feel that they have the trust of the manager and that they play in their best positions, even if sometimes it's difficult, because you need to make 26 players happy, and sometimes this is difficult. You need to invent a little bit, but in my opinion, put the best players out on the pitch. You know, of course, Gareth will have other opinions than me or than you that what is the best 11. But for me, I want to see the best players on the pitch, and then it's the manager's job to find and fit, you know, the patterns and the positions on.
Because you guys done that with the 2012 team. You played as a false nine, which wasn't your conventional position. You played it with Barca before, but it wasn't your conventional position. A little bit like Phil playing on the left for England now, normally plays central mainly, or Trent coming from right back to centre midfield. We're all debating now, is that right? Should he be playing players out of position? What's your views on that, given someone who's done that and won?
Yeah, that's super interesting debate because, as you know, we won the Euros in 2012. Me playing as a striker, Iniesta playing as a left winger, and David Silva playing as a right winger.
All three in the wrong
none
position.
of us, we were all in the, let's say, wrong positions. But what happened?
But were you the best three players? You was part of the best group in that within the group, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. But there was Fernando Torres. You know, but the coach, I remember the day before Italy game, the first game of the tournament, we're doing warm up, and Vicente del Bosque comes to me and he says, "What do you think if you play as a false nine?" I said, "Boss, just put me on. I'll be happy, you know, whatever it is."
You scored in that first game, though, right?
Yeah, I scored in that first game, and that's what I'm trying to say to you. And it was something that was mentioned the other day when we were talking about the game. For me, it's not about so much the system or the position where this player. You need to have the game intelligence and the personality to have an impact. If you are a good player and you don't touch the ball, for me, I always feel that something is wrong, because when I used to play with Hazard, for example, at Chelsea, just to give you an example, with Messi, whatever, as a midfielder, I know I have to fit him.
Feed him.
Because he's the guy that is going to make the difference. But he wanted the ball. I know that he will always be available. My job is to play forward and find him. But he will always be, you know, available. When I feel that you're a good player, but the players don't find you, or they don't find me, for example, I always feel that it's more my fault than not the other ones. I need to be available. I need to be available, and I need to find a way to have an impact on the game. And sometimes it's what I mean about wanting it and trying to get the game, you know.
Do you think the England team, I think it's all, I agree with that 100%, but is it also about the other teammates identifying who the go-to guy is as well? And England at the moment, it's Jude Bellingham, it could be Phil, it might be Kane or Saka. Do you need to know the guy?
Yeah, I mean, the better options you have, obviously, much better. I believe as well in connections, you know, like Jude and Phil. I think they have to find each other. They have to
create the bond,
yes, feel the connection. But this is not coachable sometimes. This is either you feel it from the day one. I remember Diego Costa and I we connected without even knowing each other. We just looked at each other and said, okay, this is your strengths, these are my strengths, let's work together.
Game intelligence.
You know, game intelligence.
And he's a tough guy to connect with.
He's tough, but I don't know how we made it, but we did.
You know, with the manager of this Spain squad, De La Fuente, right? So you've got so many managers over the last kind of 10 years for Spain that have tried and pretty much failed, right? So you had that golden era, and then all of a sudden Spain kind of drifted off a little bit. What do you think this new manager for Spain is doing to get them working together, to get them pressing like that in an international tournament?
Well, I think that the best thing about De La Fuente is that he was a youth coach for a very long time. He was coach of the under 17s, under 19s, under 21. So he knows all these generations throughout, basically knows. He's worked with them for years and years and years. So maybe sometimes for us that we haven't done it, or we haven't watched these players grow the way he has, you know, we can have some doubts because they don't play for big clubs, or because they didn't have the impact that we expected for one reason or another. He knows exactly all the strengths and all the weaknesses of these players, and that's why we trust him in Spain, because he knows more things than we do. Like Cucurella, no? Cucurella, everyone doubted. Be careful. He's had two amazing games. And I remember actually Cucurella playing for the under 21s before he went to Brighton and stuff. I was like, oh, this player, and it was with De La Fuente. You know,
it shows you, doesn't it? It shows you, doesn't matter what level of player you are, if you feel the manager trusts you and appreciates you as a player, your performance will always be better.
100%.
The moment I feel that
there are doubts,
there's doubts at Chelsea a little bit in the early part of the season, so you see a shadow of who the real player is. Do you know what I mean? Confidence is huge.
Well, Cesc, you're a man who's known for his precision passing, so we want to see how good your precision was in our 9-dart challenge.
All right, let's go.
This is the assist man.
I know. Okay, 14,
not bad. Oh, 12.
Go inside.
Wait.
It's important.
Nah.
26,
12. I need to get the
26.
20.
It's 9, okay.
46.
46.
Terrible.
That's a very good start.
Great
well, you
start.
keep hitting 46s, you're top.
46. Very good.
No. 6.
40. 52. 53.
Wait, 18, yeah.
Oh, 52. 70.
No.
75.
75.
You're good, you know. You're going to go top.
20s.
75. 93.
Oh, he's
He's done it. He's
already done it.
93
Oh,
plus.
terrible.
5.
98. And then 110.
Cesc.
Wow.
Well
Cesc,
done.
you've gone into the lead. Number 1 on the leaderboard.
Top of the lead there, sir.
Good. Let's
Well
see
done. Well done.
how much it lasts.
Well, Cesc, top of the league. 110 you scored. Just above Celia Sasic on 93 and Sami Khedira on 92. You are flying.
Above Sami Khedira. As a Barcelona man, that must feel quite good.
Normal.
110 caps for Spain. So I said, let's
Yeah.
match that since we're talking about Spain a bit.
Did you get 110 caps for Spain?
Yeah.
Did
So
you?
that's precision.
And that's
see?
that.
Precision,
That
see?
is it. That is meant
That's
to
what
be.
we're working with. See, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Can you take us back to your dressing room? Successful period, 2 Euros, winning teams. Who was the leader in them dressing rooms, or was it different in each tournament?
We were a family. We were a proper group of friends. I would say everything started in 2008. We created this bond. I don't know if you remember, Luis Aragonés put a little bit like the old guard, like Raúl, Salgado, Baraja, Albel, all of these older generations. He took them on the side and he started to believe in us, the younger ones. And we started to win 1 game and 2 games, and the atmosphere, you could see it kept growing, you know, and we had a group of young players, hungry, with a lot of talent, quality. We needed someone to believe in us, and Luis Aragonés did that. And then we just kept going. Del Bosque was super intelligent in just keeping it safe, keeping it tight. You know, whatever we were doing, just continuing it, just get us the consistency. And I believe this group of players, this group of humans with obviously a lot of quality and talent, made us to go to another level. I remember, like, for example, someone like Pepe Reina, which you all know well. Probably in those 3 competitions, he hardly played a game, but he was so important for us behind the scenes and being one of us and give us energy, celebrating and sprinting, being the first one to be there.
Does that make a difference? When,
you need players like this, because sometimes in Spain they said one day, this guy, he hasn't played and he celebrates like he's won. For us, and probably you've had players, teammates like that. They are so important
For the morale.
For the morale, for the togetherness. One day you lose and they are there supporting you. They train like animals, you know, because sometimes, you know, in these small competitions, normally it's about 12, 13 players that start every game, and the rest, they need to keep the standards high every single day in training.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it's not easy when you come, let's say, from Arsenal and you play every game. You go to national team and you don't play, and you are the star there, but not here. It's difficult, you know, for your ego, you know, to keep going. And we had that humility, and it was great. And I believe this was our success.
Do you know what? You're probably wondering what this is. We need to
Yes.
spin this. This has got things on it like you're going to answer. Who's your GOAT? If it lands on there. Celebrity crush. Maybe you don't want to answer that. I don't know. Fabio Capello wouldn't answer that. But things like that. So I'll let you spin it. And
All right.
then,
Can I?
yeah, go on. Just give it a little spin.
Give it a decent spin and see what you get.
Oh, go. Oh, easy, man.
Do it,
Do
yeah.
it again. Here we go. Last photo in your phone.
Last photo on my phone. My son with Arsene
Is it?
Wenger. Yeah, just now.
Yeah.
5 minutes before. Yeah.
We'll trust you because you don't actually have your phone on
No,
you.
my
We'll
son
trust
has
you.
it, my
Yeah.
son
It's
Yeah,
the first time I've seen you sweat like that. Cesc, the Spanish team that you played with was absolutely unbelievable. And, you know, that trophy to your right, you've lifted that as a player. How important is that?
For me, winning this with your country, it's the most special thing.
Yeah.
It's different, and you can see when you celebrate. And we won big things with Barcelona. We celebrated, in the bus. How do you say without
Yeah.
the
Open
roof,
top.
open top, millions of people. But when you go to Madrid and you celebrate one of these or the World Cup, the amount of people that it's in the street, you would not believe. You feel it's something different. You've created history to another level, because especially the first one, I remember that people wouldn't expect it, and the way it happened and the togetherness and how they saw these young players, singing after the games and going to the crowd and celebrating and with their families, bringing the country united. There was that problem, economically as well back then, and we brought everyone together, and it feels completely different.
This team, we can't have you here and not talk about some of the greatest midfielders that we've ever seen grace the game, you included. Can you just talk us through what it was like playing with these guys, and any little details you could give us about somebody like a Sergio Busquets? Because we look at the holding midfielders of today, like Rodri, Declan Rice is being spoke about, you've got Casemiro, etc. These guys over the last 10 or so years, Toni Kroos. Busquets was another level, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. And when I talk about it, this subject specifically, and actually something that we're talking now with Arsene just before coming here to you guys, is that you don't find many players now who can dictate games by playing one touch or being physically inferior, because they don't anticipate the game. They are not reading the game. They don't look around 20 times before the ball comes. They don't understand that the player will be making this run at this time, and he could just be walking around and dictate game, and he didn't feel the pressure. You could press him as hard as possible, believe me.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And he could do the unexpected things, because after that, it was not only two touches, skill.
Yeah.
Sometimes he will feint, and you will, hello, well, see you later. He will have these turns. He will play you 1-2s. If you let him play, he will find these passes between the lines to break lines. It's for me, it's one of the greatest players for sure in that position that I have seen. After, we can talk obviously about Pirlo's, who was maybe a different style, more long balls, maybe more decisive in the other parts of the game, but from the same position. But really, for us, was a fantastic, important player.
One player that you played alongside and has always kind of been just this supreme defender at the back. It is actually Sergio Ramos, who I was going to talk about. PKs and Puyols, but someone like Ramos at the back, what type of atmosphere does he bring there? Because if I'm an attacker and I'm looking at all three of those, the last I want to come up against is actually Ramos.
But also, there was a big dynamic with the Barcelona Real Madrid team at this time as well. So he was a big part of that as well.
A bit more advanced, a bit forward. But yeah, you mean when we had the clash? Yeah. No, Sergio, first of all, as a leader, he was very important. But it's difficult to explain it. But the confidence that I had being on that pitch, if you look at all the positions, like we were playing against the best strikers, we were playing against the best midfielders, the best defenders. The trust, the feel that I had when someone else had the ball, I know the ball is coming to me. I know I have the ball. I have plenty of solutions. I know they are attacking us. I said, wow, we have Puyol, we have Sergio Ramos, we have Piqué. No way they are getting past it. And this belief brought us as well to another level in terms of, the togetherness that we are talking about. But yeah, going back to Rio's point about there was a moment I think it was 2010 or 2009 when Mourinho joined Real Madrid, that I think they felt a little bit not inferior, but they knew that Barcelona were really, really strong at that moment. So the only way sometimes it was defend. For example, three defensive midfielders playing together, four at the back, very tight. And then they were trying to play counter-attack with Cristiano, Di Maria, Ozil, Benzema, this type of players. And they were a team that they were very, very aggressive, like making a lot of free kicks. And they didn't succeed, but sometimes they stopped us from playing, and there was this kind of friction, started to be between Casillas and Xavi, for example, then Puyol and Xavi Alonso. And we had to intervene, at some point, because this was depending of us to winning the World Cup or no. We just came from something beautiful. We wanted to repeat it, but there were so many players from Madrid and Barcelona that at the end of the day, that basically the starting 11 was
50-50.
Yeah.
or 70-30, doesn't matter, but there was a lot of players of both teams, and we knew that the success was depending about, if we were going to have a good relationship or not. In the end, we fixed it, and obviously Sergio was a big part. I wasn't in Barcelona at that time, but I could see it, very closely from the outside. And when we were there, and finally they managed to solve everything.
How do you fix that? Is it just like you go out and have a party,
conversations,
calls,
communication?
Phone calls. Yeah,
phone calls.
Yeah,
really?
I think the first phone call was between Xavi and Casillas to say, right, let's end this. We need to, for the best of the country, we need to. And then I think Mourinho got upset with Casillas because of this. So, it was very tough. It was very tough because that, okay, from one side you are fixing something, but maybe him personally, he's being, hurt in the club. It was a very tough solution, but for the best of the country, they did the right thing.
Xavi, as a player,
amazing.
Xavi and Iniesta was like a crazy partnership. Like, just talk us through those guys. Like, how important were they to the team in terms of like Xavi, the tempo of the game went through him.
Yeah, they connected. They understood each other.
And that's
so
what you're
well.
saying, isn't it? About someone like we're looking selfishly at England, like a Jude and a Phil Foden. You need your best players to be able to connect and build that bond on the pitch.
Yeah, 100%. And when we talk about Xavi and Iniesta, it's like it's a package. No, it's like we're talking about one player together because they played for 15 years at the top level, Spain, Barcelona, winning things together, playing amazing football. But again, the leadership they had, the command, difficult game. They won the ball. They don't get stressed. You can pressure whatever you want. They will always find a solution because again of what we're saying, and it's something that I still think we need to coach the young players.
What's that?
The understanding of the game, to see things before they happen. Nowadays coaches, and I've had in the last, let's say 7-8 years, you have to do this. When the ball comes to you, this. It's very robotic, and you could see the difference between the Spanish players and the Italians. The Italians, they had 2 or 3 plays in their head that they worked on. After Spain, they understood what they were trying to do. The game was finished because the Spain, they are gifted, naturally gifted, talented wise or technically. You could see that Fabian Ruiz, the ball comes to him. He knows exactly what he's going to do.
How do you coach that at a young age? How do you coach that ability to see the game and to anticipate the game and not just play through the structure that you're given for a coach?
I think, first of all, you start individually. Technique, okay? First of all, technique. You must have good technique to be able to get the ball in tight positions and to get the right passing at the right time. Okay, so understanding of the game and technique is very important. But then individually, for example, I'm obsessed because being a midfielder maybe, and I thought maybe it was one of my qualities to play forward. If a midfielder, the best quality that he must have is to be able to play forward. There are all these stats nowadays. 100% passing, 90. Yeah, but show me the clips of the passing. Are they passing to the center back, close midfielder? Or is it a passing like, he's breaking lines, he's making things happen, he plays forward all the time? For me, this is definitely something. And then you have to understand, get passing in training from different positions, different moments, get him be pressed by different situations, sometimes forward, sometimes you pretend that the coach, for example, or a teammate goes to press and stops pressing. Has he understood that he's not pressing anymore? Can he turn? Can he play? For example, you put mini goals with different colors. In 1 second, he needs to say red, boom, and he needs to find it. There are many ways, but we don't spend enough time individually with the players, in my opinion.
Last question before you go. Who are your favourites to win the tournament?
So far, Germany and Spain.
Okay.
I think Germany and Spain, they have very similar qualities, similar type of football, similar principles. They look comfortable, and I think they are the ones that are more ready, to play this modern, intensive, aggressive football, good on the ball, disciplined tactically. Yeah, I think they are the most complete teams in the tournament at the moment.
Okay. Amazing. Listen, man, I have to say thank you. I know you got to run.
Oh,
busy man, got his family outside waiting to go, man. So thanks a lot. Cesc, that's been the Legends Lounge. Thank you very much. Roman, you can relax now.